It turns out that people are getting tired of stuffing their faces with 4 mediocre cookies only to find out that the calories from those 4 cookies combined equals over 3,000 calories, leaving them feeling not only physically like garbage, but also emotionally like garbage as well. But for real, the viral cookie chain Crumbl Cookies is looking like it's in a little bit of danger. From lawsuits, huge drops in sales, and overall just people not really caring anymore about the overpriced, oversized, overloaded with calories cookies.
It doesn't really taste like anything special. It's kind of dry.
That is horrible.
It's just not really looking good for Crumbl Cookies right now. Now, if you haven't heard of Crumbl Cookies at this point, and honestly, I don't really know how you wouldn't have heard of them, but either way, if you haven't heard of Crumbl Cookies, is a humongous cookie franchise across the United States and Canada that went absolutely viral starting back in like 2021, 2022. Their pink boxes of humongous cookies were all over the internet. People were sharing their reviews and their mukbangs of these cookies like crazy. Now, what really helped to make Crumbl Cookies the huge iconic cookie company that it became was their kind of genius marketing plan of having a rotating menu every week. Aside from 1 or 2 staple cookies like a classic chocolate chip, every week every single cookie flavor would be replaced with a new one, which fueled all of the FOMO of cookie lovers. Every Sunday, Crumbl Cookies would announce their next week's cookie lineup on social media, and everybody at home would see these beautiful cinematic ads for cookies and decide, oh, well, I have to go to Crumbl this week to try the new week's cookies because when's the next time I'm gonna get a chance to try these new flavors? And honestly, it was a really great marketing strategy. People would come back to Crumbl Cookies every single week to try the new cookie flavors. And overall, Crumbl Cookies, because of this, became a humongous internet sensation and everybody was talking about it. But are the cookies really even that good? A lot of people would tell you no and that they are super overrated. And you know what? I have definitely had my fair share of Crumbl Cookies, and while some of the cookies are pretty good, there's also a decent number of cookies that really are not that great. Some of them have even been kind of bad, in my opinion. With so many different flavors being made and sold every single week, obviously not every flavor is going to be a crowd pleaser, but even their chocolate chip cookie, which in my opinion should be their best cookie, I don't think is very good. I would honestly maybe say it's a bad chocolate chip cookie. Like, I have had better chocolate chip cookies from grocery store bakeries before. Shout out Albertsons, they have fantastic chocolate chip cookies from the bakery. Now, you would think that such a huge cookie company would have absolutely perfected one of the most iconic cookie flavors of all time, but they just haven't, which I think is super disappointing. Like, I would never go to Crumbl Cookies and be like, yeah, I need to get one of their chocolate chips. I would never. A lot of people actually complain about all of their cookies in general, whether it be that their cookies are too sweet, they're too bland, or overall just not worth the hype. And honestly, I can't really argue against that. There are definitely so many better cookies out there. Now, to be fair, some of the cookie flavors are pretty good, but even in that case, are they worth the price they cost? Now, it does depend on what store you go to and what part of the country you're in, but most of the time, a singular Crumbl cookie is going to cost you about $5 per cookie. Now, they are pretty big cookies, but if you're the kind of person who wants to go in and try every single new cookie every week, that is going to cost you a lot of money. But then again, maybe part of the reason they're so expensive is because of the fact that some of the cookies are almost 1,000 calories per cookie. So depending on your calorie needs, you could potentially get all of the calories you need for a single day by eating 2 Crumbl cookies. Just 2. And Crumbl has actually gotten quite a bit of negative attention because of deceptively marketing the cookie nutritional facts in their stores. At first glance, when you walk into a Crumbl store, you see this big screen that has all of the cookie flavors of the week, and underneath of it, it has a calorie count. And you look and you go, oh, 150, 200 calories? That's honestly not even that bad for a cookie that size. It's fine. They can't be that bad for you, right? Well, it turns out that's, not an entirely accurate way to advertise the calorie and nutrition information. Yeah, it actually turns out that a lot of times in store, that calorie count under the picture of the cookie, yeah, that's the calorie count for 1/4 of the cookie, a quarter of it. Not the whole cookie, a fourth. It's a little deceptive, and by a little deceptive, I mean it's super deceptive, because who really wants to walk into a store and pick out a cookie to eat that's 900 calories? Probably not a lot of people. But yeah, these cookies are very, 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 very bad for you, not only due to the calorie count, but also due to the sugar contents in general. It's a lot of sugar. Now, Crumbl Cookies did actually face a lawsuit because of this deceptive calorie count, but that is not the first lawsuit they faced. They've actually faced worse. Crumbl also had 11 different locations across the United States break child labor laws, and Crumbl ended up being fined over $50,000 because of these violations. Now, in my opinion, $50,000 is really not that much money considering how big of a company Crumbl Cookie is, but hopefully they learned and they are stricter now about making sure their franchise locations don't break child labor laws. However, Crumbl has also faced a lot of controversy because a lot of employees and former employees have come forward to say that working conditions at Crumbl just are not good in general. And beyond all of that, Crumbl has even dealt with allegations that they stole cookie recipes from smaller cookie companies. So overall, Crumbl has certainly dealt with their fair share of controversies over the past couple of years. Oh, how the cookie crumbles. Now, when we look at Crumbl Cookies today, they are certainly not thriving in the same way they did back in 2021 and 2022. The average store revenue for Crumbl dropped by 37% in 2023. Crumbl's net income also declined by 19% in 2023. And I think that just really goes to show you how much of the hype around these cookies has really faded over the past couple of years. Crumbl has even started to close a lot of their locations because they just ended up not being sustainable. Now, back in Crumbl's peak of popularity, they were opening stores like crazy. Crumbl Cookies were popping up on every corner, it seemed. So it really seems like they expanded way too much, way too fast, and it just did not end well. Now, Crumbl today is very aware that they are in danger, and they are trying their best to come back from this, and mainly with a rebrand. So Crumbl Cookies used to be Crumbl Cookies, but now it's just Crumbl. They've totally removed cookies from their name. And it does kind of make a little bit of sense because now not only do they have cookies rotating every week, but they are now rotating out one different kind of baked good every week. Cakes, puddings, pies, stuff like that, they all have rotating. I think as I'm recording this video, they have like a banana pudding, which honestly, I know I'm talking a lot of shit about Crumbl, but I love banana pudding. And if I had a Crumbl near me right now, I would probably go and try the banana pudding. I'm just a sucker for banana pudding. It's so good. I'm sorry. I think they really saw that the cookies just really are not pulling a lot of hype on social media anymore, and by adding these new types of desserts to their menu, they can try to get a little bit more of that hype back. And really, we're just gonna have to wait and see if this ends up paying off for Crumbl or if it ends up being a waste. Now, in my opinion, Crumbl does definitely have a few things it needs to change if it wants to regain its popularity again and become this humongous force of cookies once again. But I think the number one thing they need to focus on is, instead of focusing on the quantity of flavors, let's focus on the quality of the flavors, because I think that's one of their biggest problems. While the current rotation method they use does get a lot of people in every week to try flavors, I feel like after a couple weeks of going to get cookies and not being blown away by the cookie flavors, people will just stop going. And I have to admit that that's something I dealt with. When I first learned about Crumbl Cookies, I wanted to go every week to try the new flavors, and then after a couple of weeks of getting a lot of flavors I didn't really end up liking, I just didn't really care to keep going back and spending so much money on cookies that really didn't blow me away. But if Crumbl focused on having a few staple items that were really, really good and maybe a couple less rotating flavors, they could have a better chance of keeping repeat customers. Now, back to the chocolate chip cookie for a second. They do currently always have some variation of a chocolate chip cookie on their menu, whether it be a milk chocolate or a semi-sweet chocolate cookie. But like I mentioned, they're not that good. But if Crumbl really perfected a fantastic, amazing chocolate chip cookie, I think that alone could really draw people into the stores to go and get a big, amazing chocolate chip cookie and then be tempted by a couple of the other random weekly rotating flavors. And maybe I'm just biased to chocolate chip, but I feel like chocolate chip is just such a classic. Like, I would go to Crumbl if they had a really, really good chocolate chip cookie. Would you? I would. I would go a lot. In my opinion, I think a chocolate chip cookie should honestly be the foundation of any cookie business, and having their chocolate chip cookie just be so lackluster is wild to me. It really is. It's the most disappointing chocolate chip cookie I think I've ever maybe had. Like, how can you even be a cookie business and not have an amazing chocolate chip cookie? It just doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Now, on top of always having a chocolate chip cookie in store every week, they also used to have a pink frosted sugar cookie that they had every single week on top of the rotating flavors, and it was a pretty good cookie, I can't deny it. But of course, Crumbl decided to take away a good thing they had going for them and make the pink frosted sugar cookie no longer a weekly staple, but they added it to the rotating menu, which upset a lot of people. Understandably so, honestly. It was a good cookie. Like, they had one good cookie going for them on their menu every single week, and they took it away. Oh, whose choice was that? It was a bad choice. I think that with how quickly Crumbl rotates their flavors, a lot of the cookie recipes probably just haven't had enough time to be developed and be perfected. I mean, unless, of course, Crumbl has like hundreds of bakers working on cookie recipes at any given time, which, I mean, they could. I don't know how their recipe development works, but I feel like when you have so many cookie flavors being put out all the time, there just probably isn't enough time to perfect each cookie recipe, which is maybe why a lot of the cookie flavors just aren't that good. I really think that Crumbl needs to spend more time truly perfecting a couple staple cookies that they always offer, and overall just spending more time developing quality products, because while their method of pushing out new cookie flavors every single week worked for a good couple of years, it did kind of quickly become a fad that people just lost interest in and lost the hype for. If they had a really good couple of staple products, like a really amazing chocolate chip cookie that would bring people into the store more often, then people would also probably be a lot more willing to go in and try the new flavors every couple of weeks. I think Crumbl, as it is right now, has just put way too much focus into their weekly flavor rotations rather than offering like truly good products. If they offered truly amazing products, they would stay the top cookie brand. But as they're doing right now, they're kind of falling from the top of the cookie market. But anyways, have you tried Crumbl cookies before? And if so, tell me your thoughts about them in the comments down below. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have liked some of their cookies in the past, but a lot of them just don't really do it for me, unfortunately. I really just think a lot of their cookies fully missed the mark, which is super unfortunate considering how big of a cookie brand they are. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Also, if you didn't already know, I do stream over on Twitch 4 days a week. We play a lot of different video games. We chat, we hang out, and have a great time. So drop me a follow over on Twitch, and I hope to see you hang out in my Twitch chat at some point. But yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye!